Now, in most cases, our goal is to figure out what grammar rule we're being asked about before we get started on the question. But on easier questions, we might be able to just hear the right answer. This is one of those. I'll still go into the rule, but if we read this and try to fill in the blank, multiple newspapers blank the Spanish-speaking population of Washington, D.C., including El Tiempo Latino and Washington Hispanic. So multiple newspapers serve the Spanish-speaking population of Washington, D.C. I would hope that that's the only answer that sounds remotely good. And that's because that's the one that needs to kind of anchor the sentence. All the other verbs are going to be incomplete, basically, make an incomplete sentence. So there are multiple verb tense rules on the SAT, and this is probably the weirdest one. It's the one I call the to and ing rule. Basically, it's because we have choices where we have the to version of a verb as well as some of the ing versions. It's not to say that those are always right or always wrong. It just depends on the circumstances. Regardless, what we're trying to do is think about how this verb tense will impact the structure of the sentence. It's not about when it takes place. It's not about the past, the present, the future. It's about how the structure is built. So the actual sentence here is something like this, and it kind of ends where that comma is, and we add on an extra clause. Multiple newspapers serve the Spanish-speaking population of Washington, D.C. The serve is acting as the main verb in the sentence. If we did something like choice D, multiple newspapers serving the Spanish-speaking population of Washington, D.C., it sounds like I haven't gotten my point yet, right? I don't know if you can hear it, but it sounds like I'm building towards something and I never get there. That's an incomplete sentence. It's a fragment, a dependent clause. We would need some other strong verb like serve later on, something like multiple newspapers serving the Spanish-speaking population of Washington, D.C. have made Washington a great place for news, whatever it may be. So that would finish the sentence, but because that doesn't happen, there is no verb like that later, we need that verb to go into the blank. And so that is why choice A is the answer. But like I said at the beginning, a lot of you are going to be able to just hear that is the answer, and that's okay on some of the easier questions. But as we get to the harder, trickier stuff, we're really going to want to know like what rule is at play that gets us that answer.